Although Miyamoto's console games were very different from the Williams' computer games, they both succeeded in combining traditional storytelling techniques with new technology. They took games and players where no one thought they could. But changing times and changing tastes would soon push storytelling and technology to a new edge. For many players, the appeal of traditional heroes was a thing of the past. The 90s was an edgier time, and gamers wanted edgier characters. Players around the world were hooked, and not just on rascally rodents. They also found themselves compelled by a lovable loser named Larry. Larry Laffer was the title character of a series called Leisure Suit Larry, and the goal of the game was to help this balding, dorky, middle-aged man seduce attractive women.
The tack that I took was to create an anti-hero, a guy who would constantly be humiliated or insulted or put down. But if you played the game long enough, finally in the end he would persevere and have just a short brief moment of happiness.
Leisure Suit Larry, at the time it came out, that was the first racy content on a computer.
It was also one of the first games set in a real-world environment with realistic characters.
I think Larry was the first game to use real characters, real people, and present-day times and present-day settings, as opposed to the rut that most games were in, which is either medieval settings or space in the future. I had no grand plan. I just knew that I didn't want to compete with those games or with those games, and therefore there was this big hole down the middle that seemed to me to be the perfect spot.
In the early days, we had a hard time showing human beings, so games were about aliens from outer space. But then we figured out how to show humans on the screen, and you started to get more games about human beings. Now the holy grail is kind of emotion, characters that feel fully fleshed out and like real human beings. That's really the next challenge for us.
Until then, perhaps the rendering doesn't always have to happen on the screen. It can happen in the imagination of the player, like it did with the first low-resolution graphics or text-based adventure games. But whether or not it makes the player cry, a video game is still a powerful medium. After all, where else can an average person become a hero with the push of a button?